I want to tell you my secret now.
As we truck along with our year-by-year breakdown, we present to you the 10 best horror films of 1999. This is the year that gave us one of the highest grossing horror movies of all time, one of the greatest twist endings ever, and Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting the devil one-on-one. Let's get started. On the eve of the new millennium, an alcoholic former New York cop finds himself at the center of an ancient conflict between good and evil involving a young woman whom he must protect from the devil himself, who has come to Earth to use the woman to birth the Antichrist and bring about the apocalypse. End of Days is an extrapolation of Rosemary's Baby and The Omen for the macho action movie international fan base. What stands out most here is that, beyond the ridiculous premise, the film adopts a surprisingly somber tone. Our protagonist is depressed and near suicide as the film starts, and then sucked into a battle with the devil himself, leaving no opportunity for irony or satire. By avoiding self-awareness, the film demands to be treated seriously, and generally overcomes its own silliness with large doses of uncompromising violence, and credit to all involved for conjuring up and then sticking with a particularly bittersweet ending.
I want you to go to hell.
You see, sometimes the problem is
Hell comes to you.
When a young woman becomes afflicted by stigmata, the wounds of Christ, a priest is sent to investigate her case, which may have severe ramifications for his faith and for the Catholic Church itself. From a filmmaking standpoint, this film is terrific. The photography is fantastic. The use of the camera perspectives, scenes set up, and various techniques, including slow motion, double exposure, rapid fire jump cuts, and reverse slow motion are all on point and add impact to create some very scary footage. Comparisons between this and The Exorcist are misplaced. They really have nothing in common other than the fact that the main character is possessed. With that said, Stigmata is surprisingly sedate and intelligent food for thought about faith and supernatural phenomena. Gory, fast-paced, and enthusiastically stupid, Idle Hands tells the story of a lazy stoner, Anton, whose hand becomes possessed. Under the influence of his malevolent appendages, Anton murders his best friends, flings his cat out the window, and still finds time to get high on a regular basis. The spiritual descendant of Bucket of Blood, Little Shop of Horrors, and the Evil Dead trilogy, Idle Hands is both a gentle spoof of and a loving homage to the demonic possession genre. Loaded with smart sight gags and endearing secondary characters, it effectively mixes slapstick splatter and deadpan satire. Not everything works, and a few of the subplots seem unnecessary, but overall, Idle Hands' gleeful, sweet-natured sadism proves to be pretty damned irresistible.
Bite down.
don't cut me, man!
A game designer on the run from assassins must play her virtual reality creation with a marketing trainee to determine if the game has been damaged. Now, it seems fair to say that a lot of these older virtual reality movies don't really age well. That sort of thing is so much more advanced than we'd ever have thought possible, even back in 1999. So, although it may have been groundbreaking at the time, that side of things isn't as impressive when watching this for the first time and insert current year here. Still, experienced gamers should find much to savor through the film's unique assessments on the nature of reality. David Cronenberg is a laughing existentialist here, a philosopher who sees the comedy in disorientation. And boy, it's a disturbing, disoriented sensation indeed. Puzzles within puzzles, games within games, that continues right up to the last shot.
I found this in my soup, and I'm very upset.
Washington Irvine's tale of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman gets a new twist in Tim Burton's big screen adaptation. In this version, Ichabod is a New York City detective whose unorthodox techniques and penchant for gadgets make him unpopular with his colleagues. He He is sent to the remote town of Sleepy Hollow to investigate a series of bizarre murders, in which a number of people have been found dead in the woods with their heads cut off. Local legend has it that a ghost rides through the woods on horseback, lopping off heads of the unsuspecting and unbelieving. Ichabod refuses to believe in this legend, convinced that there must be a logical explanation for the murders. And you know where things go from here. In a remote military outpost in the 19th century, a regiment embark on a rescue mission which takes a dark turn when they are ambushed by a vicious killer who is blissfully living the anthropophagic lifestyle. The only thing better than watching this with someone for the first time is watching it with someone who thinks they know where the story is going to go. Ravenous is a horror film that feels as if it would be perfect for both horror and non-horror fans. The horrific elements are all in place, but the tired tropes that dominate most horror movies are not at all present. There are no jump scares to be found here. In fact, there are no real scares of any sort. The horror is more psychological, mixed with the occasional gore and grossness that, while graphic, is never done to the point of excessiveness. Ravenous is a film beyond duplication. There is a brilliance at work here that lifts it above the star-studded pack into a dimension all its own.
Done.
After being hypnotized by a sister-in-law, a man begins seeing haunting visions of a girl's ghost, and a mystery begins to unfold around him. Stir of Echoes is loosely based on a novel by the same name by Richard Matheson. The opening scenes of the movie are engaging and will grab your attention right from the get-go. All in all, this is a sleeper hit that you'll want to see. Fans of Matheson might be a little annoyed with certain liberties the film takes, but in the end, it all works. Three film students vanish after traveling into a Maryland forest to film a documentary on the local Blair Witch legend, leaving only their footage behind. Calling the Blair Witch Project a phenomena is flirting with understatement. From the moment of its premiere at the 1999 Sundance Film Festival, Blair Witch was a full-steam word-of-mouth express, with people who'd just seen it grabbing those who had not by their parkers and shaking them violently, insisting that they absolutely must. An innovative online marketing campaign followed, launched when the internet was still a relatively new toy for the general public, creating even more frantic wanna-see by making it appear as if the film were non-fiction. Found footage horror, which had previously barely existed as a genre, became so popular that it's still going strong all these years later. There are movies in multiplexes right now that only exist because of the Blair Witch Project. Not bad for a film shot for $35,000 on a camera brought at Walmart and subsequently returned for a refund.
And it's all because of me that we're here now. Hungry and cold and hunted.
This disturbing Japanese chiller follows Ariyama, a widower who decides to start dating again. Aided by a film producer friend, he uses auditions for a fake production to function as a dating service. When he becomes intrigued by the withdrawn, gorgeous Asami, they begin a relationship. However, he begins to realize that Asami isn't as reserved as she appears to be, leading to gradually increased tension and a harrowing climax. Whether reading Audition as a portrait of coming to terms with grief, a feminist revenge tale, or a graphic exploration of romantic attachment and idealism, it remains a terrifying film. Though it's not recommended viewing if watching dismemberments doesn't bring sadistic glee to your life. This was writer-director M. Night Shyamalan's first big-budget and still best movie. Pretty much everyone knows the film's secret by now, but it remains endlessly watchable. The haunting score, the beautifully understated performances, the eerie cinematography. This movie still gives everyone the creeps. Of course, on the negative side, it introduced the world to one of the most annoying and overused catchphrases of the decade. Indeed, we pretty much all had the same reaction the first time we saw The Sixth Sense, which was thankfully before anyone could spoil the story's true colors.
They get mad. It gets cold.
Once again, thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section below.